So DE Vachlán. Well, hello to everyone. The last video was working on the fuel tank tap, and that's been left there since, and it's all bone dry. So that connection there is bone dry, and it's bone dry under the tank, and the cork seal we put in there is staying nice and dry, so it's sealing. And we worked on the fuel filter. So anyone who has a Ferguson 20 TVO or diesel and they're having problems with fuel flow issues, or they're having leaks around there, it's worth just checking that last video, part 7, out. So I do a full strip on that. So I kept them all separate in that video. So what I want to do now is I'm still torquing this head slowly up to 108 Newton meters. In the earlier video we saw that it was sitting roughly, some of them were as loose as 70 Newton meters. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take out each push rod one by one. I'm just going to make sure that none of them are bent, because I think there was one or two bent in my own 20 diesel and I didn't know. So I'm not going to make that mistake with this. So just give them a roll there on a flat surface and just make sure that they're rolling nice and even. That's perfect. Give them a quick wipe. Yeah, it's all good. So that's kind of all I kind of do with them, just to make sure there's no bent one in it. That should go back into the cam follower there. Lovely. This engine hasn't been started in a while, so the oil has made its way back down to the sump. That's perfect. That's good. Lovely. I just do them one, take out one, check it, put it back in. Okay. Perfect. There's no bends in any of these so far, at least. That's good. That's what we do, one by one. It's always good to put them back where they came out of, because you'll find that they'll have kind of worn a certain way into each of the cam followers and also onto the rocker shaft. That's perfect. That's what we want to feel. Make sure quickly that there's no dirt on them. You can hear that one actually lifting the cam follower there, and it grabs a little bit of a grip on it there. You can actually hear it, so that's good. At least it's loose. Alright, slightly boring for you watching this, but you can straighten these. A lot of the people that work on these engines will tell you can just put them in the vise and straighten them and just set the valve clearance properly then, and it shouldn't. If the valve clearance was the issue, if the valve clearance is too tight or something like that, they will bend. So just do this little check if you're having issues trying to sort valve clearance. I had awful problems on the gold belly for a long time there, trying to get valve clearance sorted. Videos up of changing rocker shafts and changing push rods, and there was one that was just, every time I checked it, the valve clearance was massive. And they're all perfect. There's no doubt about it. Perfect. So that's good. But we have to check that stuff. Okay. So as far as the stripping down goes, we're getting there. I have ordered a new fan belt because you can see this one is just starting to give way. You see in there as well. And a whole lot split in there as well. You don't see it from this side apart from there. So I might just go and loosen him off there and push in that alternator. I think we'll do that. Then we might tackle the inlet and exhaust manifolds. And another thing I'm not mad about as well, I know this isn't going to affect the running of it at all, but I might just take out that bolt, take out a load of them washers, just put in one and just cut that to length, because the rest of them aren't too bad. You know, if we're just looking for something to do one of the days, but this is the time to do it when you have no radiator there in the way. So we'll just pull over a few tools and see what size this is. $13mm, I'd say, is it? Yeah. That's okay. 13mm on the back. There's a ratchet 13mm. Okay. Hopefully now. Okay. Don't think there's a whole lot of space left on that. Push it in. Might have, oh Christ above. Jesus, that's not ideal in under there. I didn't notice that before. Yeah, from the shin rivet shot. There's a fair amount of it. What would you call them? For spacers. It's not the nicest, is it? Might try and see if I can get a bit of tube for that. As much as I know it's probably grand. Yeah, and this isn't exactly like a dynamo, you know, that's a solid big lump of cast metal that you can tap to push it in. You have to be careful with these, they're a bit more plasticky. Right, so I'll just loosen the other bolt in at the water pump. That should just help that flex a bit there for letting the alternator in. Okay, so that's basically as much as that's going to go in. And that's a nuisance, hey? And that's a bolt, that's too long, so we can't get that out. Unless I take this out, I might let it go in a bit more. Okay, I might just do that. Up she comes, in she goes, that's good. Right. Right. So another thing here, this just isn't tight enough. This is going to be hopping around. And that's probably the reason why, one of the reasons why that's after splitting the fan belt. Now I have a new fan belt ordered. Now it's been a little bit hard to get it through past this starting handle lad here, especially when your front axle pin is after kind of wearing inwards a bit. Especially now when I go and put a new one on, because the new one could even be a bit thicker. 17mm, 18mm, even here people put up to 20mm on them. I also want to test the bearings of this water pump. Yeah, that's okay, they're not making too much racket, so this is definitely time expired. That's no bother, that's what we're here for. Okay, so the alternator now, what will we do with that, I wonder. A lot of dirt around there. Yeah. It's messy enough now, lads. Messy enough. Now it would tighten up, there's no doubt about it. I'll just bring over my spacers and see if I have that better, I'll go at it. And if I don't, we'll leave it good enough alone. Likes it. Here. Likes of that now came off an alternator like. And that'd be better looking. Yeah, that's what I think I'll do there. As long as it's wide enough to go over the end of that. And it is. Yeah, wouldn't that be a little bit better looking? Again, it's probably not that important, but look, may as well I can put a washer each side of that and that'll bring that up. One of them things, isn't it? You either do or you don't. What are you, 15, isn't it? Metric, anyway, whatever it is. So I'll get 15 there and come back and try and whip that off. 15 ratchet spanner. Won't get a socket on the end of that anyway. Okay, it's getting nice and loose there. Yeah, maybe tighten up a bit. Okay, so that'll come out there handy enough. Right, front one looks like it's bigger. Okay, so we'll have to get actually 17 minutes there. So I'll whip this off and I'll whip this off then and I'll come back. Okay, alternator out. We'll take these out, 4 bolts, and we'll have a play around with our spacer. See if we can make something of that. A little bit in. Neater and safer and all of that. Firstly, we can cut this off, this thread. We don't need that. Secondly, we bring over our washers. Put a washer behind us. Want to go and make sure we just do it right. Having like your washers on this, you know, it will stop things loosening, and there is going to be vibrations and all of that. So, nice wide washer on there. Check. Right. Where's our spacer? So our spacer is going to go on. That's a nice snug fit. Alright, so we're going to want a washer on here as well. Right, so that's nice. That'll go on there, that'll go there. And I want another washer, fairly thick, I think. What we need, should have some fairly thick ones in here. Yeah, that's a thick one there, okay. Lovely. So we can try that. I'm just going to bring the bolt up here. So this had no washers on it at all. So we'll put one on there. And we'll put one on the back. Okay. So that's all it takes. I think I might have to put another washer on it somewhere on the back anyway, because there's a fair amount of free play there. So right, alternator. Happy with the bearings in it, quiet. Happy with them. Okay. Right, so a little bit awkward now. One hand. In with that. In with one washer. Pull it back to get the spacer on it. Push it back through. That's not on right at all, sure, I think. What am I thinking of that? Wasn't it this way? Okay, so wash it first. Okay. Spacer. Washer. Rolls. Good. That should do it. Yeah, it's not too bad. That's going to be a damn sight better. Okay, down. That goes through. A little bit tight there for some reason. Oh, yeah. Right. A bit long, but sure, not going to be seen. I'm more concerned with using the spacer on the back than having a long bolt on the front. Okay, start threading that on. Now how are we fixed here? So we've enough now. Are we? Yeah, that's going to work out just nicely, I'd say. So we have a bolt or a nut there somewhere, I think, don't we? Did it fall? Where is it gone? Leaving it somewhere. Have a look there for that and I'll come back. Right, I'm going to put a spring washer in there because that'll help keep everything tightened up. And find the nut at the moment there, it's on the ground somewhere, so I think this is a metric. Well, we'll try this new one on. If not, I'm going to have to try and find it. No, that's fine. That'll go on. That's sound. What did we say that was as well? 15 on the outside here. And it seems to be around about 17 on the inside there. Just want to make sure that that's all holding that there good and tight, because you remember, yeah, that's going to tighten that up lovely, there's no doubt about it, and it's going to pull it as well from the front to snug that in there nicely, I'd say. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's grand. That's a big improvement. So we'll take that. It's all about. Definitely, we'll take that. Now just the one on the front, so that has its washers. You can see the nut down there already. Sort of falling into the cradle there. So I'll just get a magnet and pull that out. Just caught my eye. I think it's down in there. And there we go. So it doesn't matter if we have one on it. Right. So front mount on this. Tighten this up and hopefully this will snug up a bit better as well. Yeah, I'll come back when it's done because that's a long mold. That's the last. It's lovely and snug. There'll be no rattling out of this at all. You see, seems to be kind of, that little spacer I put in seems to be perfect. It'll be A1. So well, so that's brilliant. Don't have, my parts haven't arrived yet, so this is going to need washers because this is just way too wide. So I'll just quickly get a nice wide washer for that. These are the kind of things that they could end up in the difference between, you know, your fan valves lasting, and there's a nice chunky one there. That's good and strong. Do you know? So I always just collect up washers and nuts and bolts and all of that. Have the selection of them there, and only thing is I mightn't be able to get it on if it's too thick. I don't mind going for a thinner one. Yeah, I'll have to go for a thinner one. But that's okay. It's just to have something on it. Just the gap in it's very wide. I'm very surprised that this is a genuine part. The Ferguson 20 ones were a little bit shorter. Now, if it was easy to take the bracket off, I would, but you have to go taking all this off to get that bolt out. Yeah, that's what we have to do there, I think, isn't it? Yeah, push it in there anyway. Now, there is one thing I'm meant to do, and you know, I'm here thinking about it now. You'll still be able to do it. And that is, I see there's a bit of an oil leak just for the time and chain tensioner. I was meant to do it there before I put on the alternator. So I might just lower down the camera stand another bit, and we'll get a look in at it there more directly. It's just a 9/16 bolt lock nut on it. Something similar to the governor adjustment bolt on the Ferguson 35 TVO over there. There's my spanners for the 9/16. There's never any seal and washer on these, and it's leaking away there because of that. So it's very carefully, I guess that's tight enough. Carefully try and loosen this without affecting that where it's tensioned into, because this pushes against the tensioner and pushes into the time and chain. Now you can usually feel it. Yes, I'm gonna have that fairly bloody tight. Maybe trying to stop oil from coming out of it. I'd like to put a sealing washer on that because that is it's leaking oil there, as you can see. Yeah, I think that's what I'll just do with that. Whip that out. Right, 9/16 socket. Whip that out. Put a sealing washer on it. That's lovely. So I just want to feel where they were had with it. Yeah, just as it's coming to tension. That's fine. That's fine. These usually off leak here anyway. Right, that's right. So I get a sealing washer and I'll come back then and we'll refit that. Sealing washer on, just a fibre wash is enough of that. And just there as it's coming on to resistance, that's where it was set. And you're tightening this. You need 2 spanners, so I'll get another 9/16. You want to hold the outside one with 1 spanner, and you want to nip inside one with another spanner, I think. Unless the outside one will stay put. If it does, well and good. It seems to be staying put there, so we'll just gently tighten that up. That should stop the oil. It is a coarse thread, so the oil does often travel up the threads and out. Okay, so there's hopefully another little issue sorted. Right. Front axle seems to be fairly tight. I'm happy with that. Just yeah, I think I'll take that out to hell. I think I'll take that bolt out to hell. I think that'd be the wise thing to do now, just to tidy it up. It's terrible looking. Whip them out, probably a 24, and cut it to length, and have that done. Yeah, let's do that. Right, gotta have it. Give it a push there with this breaker bar, and she gave in. They're just metric 24 mils. Throw another axle stand under the tractor there as well. Another job I could have done and should have done with the alternator out. It'll give me a bit more space. Ratchet it out, but look what hair. And this one here seems to be factory. Just tidying it up a bit. Take a hacksaw, and they're not nice as well. They're too big, so let's see if we have something a little bit nicer looking there. A bit snugger fitting. Wouldn't that do? That's nice. Right. So let's take our measurement now. How we need it to be. A bit of a lip there. That's all right. For space to cut it here, I'll cut it here. Make a bit of a nick in it here, and then I'll cut it in the vise. That'll do. Get that into the vise. Finish the job in the vise. Yeah, so I'll come back when I have that cut and ready to fit. So I found an issue there. This wasn't actually pulling the axle together at all because there's too much of a distance there. So I put in a bolt that definitely will, see? So that should, I put a wash for both sides, I think. That's the way it should be. By the right. So that's there. And the bolt is here in my hand. That's the old bolt. I think, where did I put the other bolt? It's on the bolt. Okay. So look, we may as well do it right. Thinking all right. The nut was tight, but the front axle was leaping around the place. So that's starting to pull in the axle there already. Simple things like that you might never have noticed, but it's only when you do these little jobs that you will notice them. No, that's definitely not going to be lapping around the place there anyway. So I'll try the others and see if it's the same crack. Okay. Okay, that doesn't seem to be alright. Let's just try him. I think he's original. So if he's original, he looks original. 1.16" should fit him. Yeah. Let's try him for a nip. Fuck's sake, yeah. Use my language. That one's pure loose as well. So this whole side was loose. So I'll get spanner for that. It was one of them jobs, you know, a lot of people wouldn't even bother doing, you know. Which way are we going? Yeah. One of them jobs, you know, it's easy to say they just put up with the long bolt sticking out, but not when it wasn't tightening. Yeah. Right. This has been loose a long time now, I'd say. It's really rusted where it is. It's mad, you can actually see the gap behind the front axle still, after me giving it a few tightens already. So you can see it actually moving forward and back. So that wouldn't be helping with wheel bearings. It definitely wouldn't be helping with front axle pin wear and steering. So sometimes when you're looking at a little thing like that, about looking too long and all of that, sometimes it is just worth checking it out. It's not factory part. We're after sorting a problem here we didn't really know we had. That's after, so you can see that I'm taking some amount of tightening up. Yeah, to tap him off, I'd say. Okay, that's good. That's not going to have done any harm at all. Right. Again, the same with the alternator. We took out 4 nuts and we put in a spacer that fits snug, because it was rattling all over the place, and that's probably why your fan belt was in bits. So you can leave these things, or you can try and make them better. Sometimes it just pays off to make them better. And of course, bolts like that, you don't realise, you think the thread runs the whole way up, and then you realise this is actually wider than the axle. That's when, and you got to remember, behind this axle goes in, so it actually isn't as wide as it looks from the top, see? That's where you get caught out. So that is why it's worth checking it out. Alright, so that's good. We've two issues sorted. So that was tight, and that was tight as well. I'm just going to give this one on the outside here, just just a little touch and see. I know it is on. It is on axle stands and jacks and all that, so I'll be careful, but I'm just going to get a feel first. Yeah, there's a nip on it there. That's definitely tight. That one's, I'd say it's another aftermarket, non-standard kind of a 24mm, but it does look to be a little bit more fine thread in there. Yeah, no, I'm happy with that. That's tight. Okay. Few issues sorted. Okay. While we are here, we can put a bit of grease down in there. I've spray grease there. And that'll then kind of bubble up into grease. Right. Good. Target ma. Right, so now, since we've that much done, we might tackle some of these manifolds. I loosened this earlier on. Heater plug. I have a new one there. It's best just to replace it with a new one. Be sure it's working. For the few euro they cost. And we should be ready to go with our 9/16 socket and 9/16 spanner. Inlet one's held on by 2, hidden in there. You don't think you can take off the exhaust without taking the inlet off. You can't, because you get caught in there. So you loosen off the inlet first. Sometimes you have to go from below, which is starting to make me think, why didn't I do this when I had the alternator off? But we'll get it. So whip off that inlet. I have new gaskets there, and whip off the exhaust. Yeah, perfect. So I'll come back when we're ready to do that. So there's never really a quick way of getting these nuts off. I got one off there. I tried using my ratchet spanner, but it's too thick to go in there. So you just literally have to take your time, and you find you can only give it a turn or two with the closed end, the ring end of the spanner before you have to go in with the open then, and just take your time, because you can't get anything else in. Sometimes the whole stud comes out, and that's a bit of a pain in the ass when it does. But what I'll do is when I take off the manifold, I'll be able to take that nut off the stud and put the stud in. So that's coming out there nicely. Should be able to get it from here now. It just kind of gets caught. From underneath is probably best. Ah, yes, that's lovely. That's about loose there now. That won't come out now until I get the exhaust manifold out, because the stud came and it's hitting again the exhaust manifold. That would be annoying if I just wanted to replace the inlet, but no, it doesn't matter. So with some of these, with some of the nuts above here, I'll lift up the camera a little bit and show you. There's space behind them for ratchets, spanners in some cases, and in other cases there's not. So I find you're better off just going with your open end spanner and just take your time. There's no real quick way about it. You just have to take it as it comes. So sometimes the whole stud will come out like this is. And once you do get them moving, I find a 15mm spanner is better because it's just a little bit bigger and you're not wasting time trying to get your 9/16 on. It's a bit snugger fitting because of all the dirt and all of that that's on them. It can just take a few seconds sometimes just to get the spanner onto it. So loosen it with your 9/16 and go in there with a 15mm. Seems to be the quickest. Right, spring washers there. On some of them I'm missing on others. So if they're missing, they'll be okay. And then there is, this isn't the right one at all. I don't know what size it is, so I'll just go for a bigger spanner there. It could be 16mm, it could be 11/16. We'll just have to see what it is. Someone definitely had this off at some point, so that's not going to work. So 15, the 15 work. Yeah. Okay. I have some spare original ones of these anyway, so I should be able to replace it. But to be honest with you, if it's the right thread now, it's not going to be making much difference. You're not going to see this at all with the fuel tank on it. It's strange, it seems to be a 15 and I hope it isn't metric. It doesn't feel like it's a metric thread shoved on over an Imperial, like it's coming off well. The only other size in Imperial bigger than 9/16 is 5/8, and that really is, you would not be loosening it with a 15mm, it would be more 16mm. Look, it's coming out and the threads look good, so I'll say nothing yet. Okay, interesting. You see all sorts, come across all sorts. Right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4. The other one here is loosening by hand. Okay, that's out there. So what I do is I take out the ones underneath. Should be able to get some of them out with a socket, and we should be ready to lift that off then. So I'll come back when I'm about ready to lift. Okay, all out. Okay. Fun clearing up this bloody gasket. Be fun. Just one last. That's it. Pretty tight. Oh, it is. That's everyone there. Let that fall down. Might have to get the 9 now when the studs come out. Okay, full exhaust. Manifolds will definitely take him off because he's just causing a nuisance. So it's even more nuisance putting it back together, I can tell you that much. Spring washer there. There's all our spring washers. There's only 1 or 2 missing. Oh yeah, and then over that. Add was there, that was for this. I think. That way there, I think. Yep, so that's that. Okay. Not too bad. I stuff all of these ports and I'll clean her up nicely, fit new gaskets. Lovely. Okay. So I might leave it there for this evening. Exhaust, inlet. Got an oil in there, so I haven't checked my air cleaner yet. I'd say our oil level is too high. Exhaust, inlet, olive oil, inlet, exhaust. Okay, so my guess is the oil level in this baby is too high and she's sucking in a little bit. So it's easy sorted. So stuff them with white paper, get the Dremel and the scratcher and scraper on the job, and we should be ready then for a new gasket. Okay, inlet manifold. Inlet manifold will clean up nice. I have a spare one there if I'm not happy with this for any reason, but there's usually no bother at all. Okay. Lovely aluminium piece. It did ever give any bother at all. They don't rust or anything like that. So we'll leave it there for this evening. So sorted a few little issues there that we didn't really realise were there until we actually went at it. I do want to take off the breather because it looks like that is that's after getting painted over, and that should be able to breathe. So I just gave it a rattle there and I noticed it doesn't seem to be very, very tight. And I'll just take it off. If it comes off easy, I'll do it now. More so to remind me, or just for fear I forget to take it off. Because it's one of those parts that it does have to breathe, otherwise it can cause problems in other places like oil leaks and all of that. Right. And we can leave him soaked in petrol. Now, putting this in nice and easy. Don't want it to fall down into the engine. Should be a washer on that as well. Yeah. It doesn't look to me that's going to do a whole lot of breathing, so I think it's about time this gets a bit of a wash in petrol. I'm going to leave that soaking there now for a good few days and blow it out with the air gun. We'll give that little bit of it, the bottom part there, a bit of a clean as well. So I'm going to leave it there for this evening till dough and denta. There's enough done. We're definitely getting there. Interesting to see LAB written on the side of the block. I never saw that before. You can see the date then as well. It's definitely 54. What's that? 13? 654. The engine number there as well. All of the frost bugs look good anyway. That's the main thing. So yeah, we're getting there. So we'll leave it there for this evening and we'll take up from here tomorrow. So Slán Tamil.